we have our next speaker, whom I'm really excited to invite here, also because truly representing the current generation and also being in a position of immense power where he can play a very fundamental role in forming our lives as of today as well as in the future. And it's a great privilege, I'm sure, that you consider as well. May I please request Honorable Yannick Shetty to join us here on the stage. Yannick is a young Austrian politician and advocate for racial acceptance and equality. It's really great to have you here, and can I please request you to join us here on the stage. His impressive profile is here on the stage. In case some of you are not able to, are you all able to read it at the back? Are you all able to read it at the back? The profile on the screen, are you able to read? Yes, no? Okay, the mix, yes. Okay, I'm going to just quickly read the last couple of lines. So Yannick is a young Austrian politician and advocate for racial acceptance and equality. His diverse background with an Austrian mother of Korean heritage and an Indian father has fueled his drive for social justice. Yannick joined the Austrian Liberty Party, NEOS, in 2013 after graduating from school, and he has continued his commitment to public service while pursuing legal studies. In 2019, Yannick made history by becoming the youngest member of the Austrian National Parliament. He focuses on critical issues such as LGBT+ rights, social integration of migrants, and generational equity, using his platform to promote positive change in his country. Yannick Shetty's dedication and leadership have made him a rising star in Austrian politics. Really great to have you here, Yannick. Please join us on the stage.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member of Parliament, dear Carsten, dear fellow jury members, dear participants from all over the world, dear ladies and gentlemen, great to see you all here today in Sri Lanka. And maybe first, thanks of all to the Friedrich Naumann Foundation to make this happen. I think this is really special, and as heard before, it's a very special event that we come here together in these days. Thank you very much for organizing this, especially to you, Carsten, but also to your team here in Sri Lanka. First of all, and I also want to talk to you about what is still to do in Europe and in South Asia. But first of all, I want to underline what was already said, to recognize the progress South Asia and specific countries in South Asia have already made. For example, Nepal, leading by recognizing the rights of sexual minorities and incorporating them in a national census and documentation. Or the Supreme Court in Sri Lanka, we talked about it as well, the Supreme Court, but also individual members in Parliament pushing forward the decriminalization in the penal code of Sri Lanka. Or India, we heard about it already as well, leading on the question of same-sex marriage. I want to share with you, and we had yesterday a meeting with members of Parliament of the Sri Lankan Parliament. I want to share with you the way Austria made. And I think for you, South Asia, watching Europe, it might seem that everything is perfect in Europe regarding LGBT rights. First of all, it isn't. And second of all, it was a very long way, but in a very short period of time. So I was born in 1995. When I was 6 years old, homosexuality was still illegal in Austria. Not illegal totally, but there were still penal codes in Austria in 2001. So in only 20 years, we went from the decriminalization to the full legal recognition. And this is actually a very short period of time. So, and in this period of time, we had the same-sex marriage, of course. We had the possibility for the adoption for same-sex couples of children, and several anti-discrimination laws were implemented. So I want to share with you that you, in Sri Lanka especially, where you're at the beginning of this process to hopefully very soon achieve the decriminalization, there can be a lots of progress in a quite short period of time, and we see this in Austria, and we see this also in several other European countries. But still, there's enough to do in Europe, and we can also see, and I think this should also be a warning for all countries in the world, there is not only progress possible. We see in several European countries, we also have movements in Austria, especially in Poland, in Hungary, or in other European countries, that there also is a backlash possible. So it is always necessary to advocate for our rights, for LGBTIQ rights, for human rights. And I especially want to highlight one specific point, as I am youngest member of parliament in Austria, and not only spokesperson for LGBTIQ issues, but also for youth, the importance of education, the importance of educate young people in regards of human rights. I think my party, especially the Liberal Party, we say education is the key to solve so many different problems, not only regarding LGBTIQ issues, but especially also there, because it is so much more easy to kill stereotypes at this age of, I don't know, 14, 15, than with someone who is 50 or 60 and was living all his or her life with the stereotypes. And that's why it's so important to focus on education and to educate the kids for more for human rights and these things. And so it was possible, for example, in Austria. This was one of the last legal issues we tackled 2 years ago, and I'm very proud that my party also had a big part in this, that we banned the ban of gay and bisexual men to donate blood. There was still a ban for till 2021, and it was a campaign carried by the youth to bring this ban to fall. And that was a very good example that there is a huge power in this new generation thinking completely differently than the generations before. I was also asked to talk a bit about, and I will come to an end because I think there was now a couple of speeches and we want to focus on the main theme of this event today. But I was also asked to talk a bit about the bridge between South Asia and Europe. And I might say that I might be a perfect match for this challenge, because as you can see here, I am a bridge between between Asia and Europe, as my father is Indian, my mother is half Korean, half Austrian. That's not very typical for members of Austrian Parliament to say so. And I really do think, and I for my part can say this, I already achieved this yesterday, we can learn so much from each other. Not only you can learn much from the progress we made in European countries, also we can learn so much, and I've learned yesterday so much from the guys I met yesterday. From your courage, from your activism in very difficult circumstances, and this event here, I think, is the best example for this. So, I want to come to an end. I want to thank you again for making this happen. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person, to talk to you about your different activities, about your initiatives. It's so great that we can be here together, and I wish us all a great conference. Thank you.